So this week's episode of My Hero Academia, it actually does quite a lot here, and I really like how it was balanced where it had a lot of the emotional elements, but they even were able to sprinkle in some of the more comedic and silly moments, and overall just gave us another solid episode of this series. But first things first, let's discuss broken Deku, and not just physically broken Deku, but also emotionally shattered. This is what I like when they can give a main character really a lot of ups and downs throughout the career or just throughout the series in general. And Broken Deku here, obviously he's going to be shattered. In his eyes, he absolutely failed one of his friends because he was within arm's reach. Granted, his arms weren't working that well, but he still could have done something, at least in his eyes, and he wasn't able to save his friend, and now all this trouble is going on. The pros heroes are gathering together. His friends are trying to do this amazing plan to rescue him and break the rules. And obviously it breaks him because in his eyes, he's the reason that all of this has to happen and he's a failure of a hero. And I really like seeing just the burden he's shouldering for better or worse for his mentality. And I like how it's not just him saying like, yeah, let's go rescue Boku. It's him not believing he can, or also just he's so broken, not just physically, but mentally as well. And I thought it did a lot for his character. I mean, we even get to see the damage that this fight did to him because all bodies have limiters, and you're not really supposed to go past 80%, but he reached 100% when he was in his fight there. And obviously the doctor's like, you gotta stop. If you do this a couple more times, maybe 3, you're gonna have to live your life without your arms. I like how this is a series that it's not just like saying to the viewer as well as the character like, you better stop or you're gonna be in a lot of trouble with your body. No, you can definitely keep telling the threat is getting higher and higher, and his chances of going above and beyond, there's very few left. It's so possible for him to screw up. He had to save Koda. Like, he actually did have to go past his limits in that scene, but there's so many times where he does go past his limits in ways that he didn't necessarily have to. He was up against an opponent that he had to break his limiter. He needed to reach 100% to save Koda. But there's going to be times where he easily could go past his limiter when he doesn't need to. And I like how this hopefully is going to really open up Deku's eyes and not constantly go above and beyond and train his body, rehabilitate it, just get his body into a shape that he can do amazing attacks without breaking his body. I just like how they're constantly showing us, like, this does have limitations and there's a reason Recovery Girl is constantly upset with Deku. We're seeing the damage, we see the x-rays, things are getting bad for him. But Ida in this episode was actually MVP of the episode. I mean, he doesn't want them to go rescue Bakugo. This should be left in the hands of the pro heroes. We're not supposed to use our abilities, and he's not wrong. Like, I mean, look at Deku. Their whole idea is we're not going to use our abilities, we're not going to break the rules. This is going to be a rescue mission without us attacking. We'll leave the fighting for the pro heroes. Things aren't going to go smoothly when you're going up against all of the pro villains in one location. And I like how Ida's like, you don't even care what I'm feeling. And I love his emotional break and him punching Deku, just everything in between there. It was nice to see him be the voice of reason. Like, this is stupid. We almost got killed at our camp here. This is the job for the pro heroes. And then you hear the voice kind of say like, you know, all of the best heroes, they have these memories from their school days. That's really what defined them to being a pro hero, like the top heroes in society. But there's also times where those heroes would need to know when to back down. And I definitely think this is one of those times where they should back down. Obviously, they're not going to. But you can actually look from Ida's perspective and say, like, he's not wrong. Hell, even Momo's like, they're not seeing the logical conclusion here, and hopefully they will. And you know they're not going to. But I do like Ida and how he was the voice of reason. And he easily could have been presented as like, oh, he's just getting in the way. But I completely agree with his mindset. Things could go easily wrong. And if Deku is forced to fight in his current condition, that could literally leave his arms useless for good. They haven't even had time to heal, and he's already getting thrown into the swing of things, and I'm really excited to see where they go. I mean, we already have the pro heroes lining up. We got some of the best here ready to go in, kick some ass, take some names, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do. But yeah, I mean, there's so many ways this could go right or wrong with this rescue mission. Who the hell knows what they're going to do? But something that was kind of unexpected, that I wasn't really expecting, and I didn't really love or hate, but it was kind of amusing when Momo and then just go into the shop and kind of do like this disguise operative missions, and you see them all with all different clothing, and then you see like Deku with his goatee and things. It was kind of humorous to see them in that situation. It was kind of like a little bit of a breathing moment because this was a pretty heavy episode for a lot of it, so it's nice to see that actual comic relief in there. But then when you actually see Bakugo, he does what I want him to do. He doesn't give in to the villains, which is what I was hoping he was going to do. Granted, they could have turned Bakugo to the dark side, My Hero Academia has done a lot of things that typically are cliche and are just generic, and they somehow twist it around and make it actually well written, so they could have done that. But I'm glad, because Baku's always been someone, even though he's hot-tempered and maybe a little violent at times, he's always been very much fond of All Might, and he always has really struck me as someone who wants to be a pro hero and be someone worthy of All Might's successor. So I'm glad he doesn't give in and he does just punch him around. But I really like some of the comments made from the villains in the episode. Like, they're watching the TV and everyone's criticizing these heroes, right? Like, there's been 2 or 3 attacks on the school within this past year. Like, how could they? And they're losing trust, which is ultimately what they wanted. But I like how Stain's mentality and ideology are still coming into play. Like, what is this society? Like, where is justice? Where are the heroes? Like, why are they blaming them instead of supporting them so they can counter this? It's very possible for society to fall because society is so just focused on the mundane things, the money, the fame, and just if someone has any sort of weakness, we throw them under the bus instead of supporting them to get them stronger. And these heroes are the best they got, and if they're not trusting them, that basically the League of Villains' perfect chance to strike back and destroy society and just rip it apart, and I love that. But yeah, just Bakugo, just that punch was awesome. I'm so glad as soon as he was unshackled, he didn't even let him continue to talk. He sucker punches them. Leader's hand goes off his face. The next episode's gonna be insane. If I'm not mistaken, the title of next episode is, I believe I saw on Twitter that chapter name, or I think there's a chapter name similar to what the next week's episode is called, and that's supposed to be an insane chapter overall, kind of like the My Hero episode. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do with that, but I do like the balance of this episode. This wasn't my favorite episode of the season, but I like how it sprinkled all these emotional elements, and they're even to sprinkle in some of that comedic element as well, while setting up next week in probably one of the most entertaining ways. I love how they just unshackle Bakugo, and after seeing all the hot-tempered and just very not well thought out things he's done in the past, I love how they think, yeah, we can unshackle a guy and treat him as an equal, and he just sucker punches him. I absolutely adore that. But yeah, once again, another really fun episode of My Hero Academia. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with episode 9 next week. But let me know what you're feeling. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Your favorite moment? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like, and if you're new, also be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.